All right, welcome to the Entrepreneur Insider Secrets podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about the discipline of consistency and why small daily actions create big results. Now, this is something that is, very near and dear to my heart because it's something that I see all the time with people that I coach, people that I work with, people that I'm doing different things with. And that is, I see people who come up with an idea and they want to pursue it for a little while, or they want to pursue it and they're really excited about it and they chase after it and they try a few things. And then for whatever reason, they don't get the desired result that they are hoping for. And as a result, they throw in the towel and they walk away and they go do something else. And I look at these things and it just bothers me because I know what ultimately is happening is they are training themselves not to succeed, but to fail. And that's a little bit what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how this process, how this lack of consistency is causing you to fail, how it is causing you to falter in what it is that you're doing. Now, one of the things that consistency does, let's start with this. Consistency builds trust. And it not only builds trust with other people that they can count on you to always be there for this or always be doing a certain type of thing. It also builds consistency with yourself. Now, let's think about this. We know from all sorts of studies, all sorts of scientific research, that our lives are essentially the sum of our daily habits. Now, what do we mean by that? Let's say you have a rather consistent consistent habit of going out and eating a little more than you should. And it's not that you're binging on food or you're not having out, like going on days where you just eat way too much food. But every day you probably have a few sweets, you have a few extras, a few things that you probably shouldn't be eating. And it's just kind of become a part of your daily routine. What do we know then? More than likely is going to be happening to you over a long period of time. Your weight will slowly start creeping up and up. Not a lot, a little bit at a time. And then until finally one day you look at it and go, well, shoot, I'm in a place I don't want to be. Or perhaps your daily routine does not involve exercise. And so you're busy with your work, you're busy with your home, you're busy with whatever your social activities are. You have a full life and you don't get out and exercise. And then all of a sudden you're in a place where you got to run up a flight of stairs and you get to the top of that flight of stairs and you go, I'm winded. I'm like, whew, I didn't used to get winded for running stairs like this. And now I'm really winded from taking those stairs because your consistent daily actions led to this result where you're no longer conditioned to handle those types of things. And so many of the same things happen in your business. So many of these same things are happening on a daily basis when we do our businesses. There are certain things that need to happen. Like people come to me all the time. It's like, I want to do a business. I have this amazing idea. And a lot of times their ideas are amazing. Their ideas are incredible. And they would be great ideas. And they work on them really hard for, let's say, 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And then, I got to stop because I got to go work on these other things. I got to do those things. And then the business kind of sits there idle for 3 months. And nothing's happening. And nothing's going on and nothing's moving. What you're training yourself to do is you're training yourself that your business is not the top priority, or that your health is not the top priority, or maybe a certain relationship that you need to go deal with some things here. You need to go deal with this individual. You need to go work with them and you need to go help them. And it's going to take some time. This isn't a relationship that's going to heal with one conversation. You need to go spend time with them. You need to now make this a priority. And it has to become a consistent part of your life. And what we do in all these things is we are programming ourselves. Okay. What we're doing essentially when we hop into an idea and we work with it for a little while and then we decide, it's not really working the way I wanted. I'm not getting results as fast as I would like. I'm out of here. I'm going to go do something else. What we are consistently training ourselves to do is quit. And that's something that most people don't realize is that when you start and stop over and over and over again, you're training yourself to quit. And these are lessons that have been very painful and difficult for me over the course of my life. As I've mentioned many times in the past, I work out with a trainer at the gym, and I do that because I need that consistency. I need the accountability. I know myself. I know if I don't have somebody there holding me accountable, it's only a matter of time before I start to fall off the wagon, and I don't consistently keep going. I don't consistently keep doing it because I'll make excuses like, oh, I'm so busy right now. I'm so tired right now. Or I got 25 things that I have to get done. I just can't take the time to go to the gym right now. But no, if I have a trainer, I have a schedule, I have a plan, I have to stick to it. And I'm expected to stick to it. And so I have to keep going. And that consistency then forms and my body starts to respond and saying, okay, this is our life now. This is a part of it. And it starts to respond. And it responds to that discipline. When you don't have that consistency, you're programming yourself. You're programming yourself that it's okay not to commit to something. You're programming yourself that it's okay to quit when things get difficult. But when you have consistency, when you take daily steps, and this is something that I encourage people to do. So many people want to go from 0 to 100 in 90 days or 30 days or whatever. They want to write a book in a weekend. They want to have a business up and running and making money in 30 days. They want. And I go, okay, maybe you can get a client or two in 30 days. Maybe it's possible if you already have some things put in place. You could probably just go straight in and start marketing, but you're really not going to have a business. You can get a couple clients, possibly, but you're not really going to have a business because building a business takes time. It takes building. It takes structure. It takes setting things up. There's a lot of things that go into actually having a real business. And the only way those types of things are going to happen is there has to be consistency. There has to be a ongoing daily action that's taken, daily time invested in it. Even if you only spend a half hour to an hour on your business every day. If you are working on your business every day, let's say you do 6 days a week and you give yourself a day off. If you're working on your business 6 days a week, this is now a consistent habit. This is now a consistent part of your life. And as a result, those habits are going to produce outcomes. Those habits are going to start to produce results. Again, I had a trainer who, my last trainer, the one before I had now, before he left, he knew exactly what I stunk at. He knew exactly where my weak spots were, where I was not good. And so he really worked on those. He was like, okay, we're going to go do this. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. He goes, I know you don't want to do this because this is going to be a struggle for you because you're not good in this area. You're having issues with this. This is hard for you. So that's why we're going to work on it. And he would make me do things that were downright humiliating. I was trying to do these exercises and it was a mess. And there are even times he's standing next to me kind of laughing at me because he knows I'm struggling mightily. And I'm just like, oh, this is humiliating. This is embarrassing. I'm trying, but he wouldn't let me quit. He wouldn't let me stop. Keep going, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Every single time I met him, do it again, do it next time, do it again. And what ends up happening is that consistency started to generate results. And not that I, ever got to be the best at those things, but the improvement that I experienced, the growth that I experienced by that consistency, by not letting myself off the hook, was significant. It was large. I went from being horrible to downright respectable. Again, I was never even attempting to be great at it because I don't think that was in me in that area. But if I could get to the point where I was respectable and I was doing well, that was a huge win. That was huge. I was getting to the point where I now actually can do this thing. I went from making a fool of myself to actually being quite respectable in getting that exercise done. I figured it out. It took a long time, and I had to work it, redo it until, like, okay, the habits have been formed by the daily consistency. And those are the things that you have to understand. So many people get hot and cold. They want this, they want that, they're jumping here and they're jumping there. And as a result, they're never building anything long term. Because I'm excited about this idea now. And this is the problem that I see with too many clients as well, even within their businesses, they get shiny object syndrome. They're like, oh, well, somebody said this was a great way to make money. I'm going to jump all over this and look at that. And then 3 weeks later, oh, now it's this. So I want to do that instead. Oh, now it's another idea 3 weeks later. It's like planting a seed in the ground, waiting 2 to 3 weeks, saying, this seed never grew to a full. I put that seed in the ground. I was there for 3 weeks. It never turned into a full-grown plant, so I'm going to rip it out and plant a new seed in the ground. Now, we all know that that's a terrible idea. We all know that that is an exercise in futility because you will be planting new seeds for the rest of your life and never seeing any results. And yet we do that exact same thing in our lives. We try something for a short period of time. We don't get immediate results. And so we start something else. We give up. We move on. Again, what we end up doing is training ourselves to give up. We start training ourselves to quit because that is the common theme throughout all of those years. We train ourselves that, okay, it's hard, so it's okay to give up. Anything that you want to build in your life that is significant, anything that you want to build in your life that is hard, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some discipline. There's going to be some challenges involved, especially if it's a significant goal. You know, if these are easy goals that you have to achieve, okay. But if you have a significant goal of your life, something big that you want, like starting a new business and being able to work for yourself and having the freedom that comes from all those things, there's going to be some grinding involved in terms of the work that you have to do on a daily basis. Just some things that are going to need to be worked out. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be a daily commitment to, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And again, the people that ultimately succeed in business are the ones who do the work on a daily basis. The ones who stay focused, the ones who keep going, the ones who stay on track. Because I see people all the time who are more talented come in, have a great business idea, but give up. And I see the ones who are lesser talented, lesser skilled, who are just consistently working at it, consistently going. And ultimately, the ones who succeed are the ones who are a little lesser talented, but more committed, who are more disciplined, who are more consistent in doing the work. Because these small daily actions compound over time. Again, just like I said earlier, like if we do a little bit too much eating of sweets on a daily basis and we're eating a little bit more, just a little bit, and that becomes our daily habit, over time, that turns into we start carrying around excess weight. And that's just the compound effects of small actions over time. But the opposite is also true. If you start building a business and you're starting to take action, you're starting to take steps, you're starting to do things, you're starting to make all these little action points, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to win the war today, but I'm going to take one more step in the direction of having a successful business. This is the next thing on my list. I want to work on that. I want to build this. I want to get that done. Great. Okay, let's do it. Let's do the work. Let's get things done. Let's keep going. And here we go. And it is, and next thing you know, within a few weeks, you have that whole thing set up and done. And now that is a resource that you can use in your business. That's something that's done, it's built, it's in place. And then a few weeks later, you got something else done. And now you're building all these pillars, you're building all these tools, all these resources, all these things that you can use in your business. And think about it this way. A lot of people say, well, I need to get income. I need to get clients. Okay, how many attempts have you made to get clients? What are you doing on a daily basis to try and reach out to people, to try and market to people, to try and start conversations, to try and build relationships to get a client? And then I usually get a blank stare. I usually get, people like to complain about their financial situation. They like to complain that they're not making enough money. They like to complain that they're not in a good place in that side of their life. But then what actions are they taking on a daily basis to generate a different outcome? Especially once you get some things in place in your business and now you just need to get clients. Now the mission is, okay, I kind of have a lot of my stuff together. I have a business kind of built and put together. Now I need to start generating clients. And rather than complaining every day, which again is a daily habit, setting yourself up in a negative victim poverty mindset, or saying, I now have assets in place. I now have a business in place. I have tools that I can use to coach people. I have tools that I can use to train people. I have resources available to me that I can use to work with clients. Now, what is my daily action step going to be to reach those people? How am I going to start building relationships? How am I going to start building on all these things so that I can start doing stuff, so that I can start building relationships with people, so that I can start getting clients? What are those things? What are those things that you do? And when I ask those questions, I usually get a blank stare. Like, well, I don't know what to do. Or, well, that's hard. Or advertising costs money. Or this or that. There's 100 different ways that you could start reaching out to people. It doesn't involve necessarily spending money on ads. It just involves taking action steps. And those action steps compound over time. The consistency of it, the consistency of taking things, doesn't mean that every day is going to be a win. It doesn't mean that everything you do is going to work out amazingly well and get you a big result. What it means is, over time, when you do it enough, all of a sudden you start to get results. And not only that, but you're building skill throughout this entire process. These are the things, so many times people feel like, oh, well, this person was an amazing athlete. Look at them. They just have all this natural ability, and that's why they're successful. Okay, I'm not going to deny that people who become professional athletes are skilled, that they don't have athletic ability. They clearly do. They clearly are athletically skilled at the sport that they're playing. But one of the things that you're not accounting for is the thousands of hours that they spent in the gym, working out, building strength, building speed, working on the technicals of the skills that they need to be successful. I remember, when I was younger, I used to live in Chicago, and we used to watch the Bulls play all the time. And this was when Michael Jordan was on his great run. And we would go to the games and we would watch him. And we were just in awe of how incredible he was as a basketball player. But living there, we also heard a lot of stories. We also heard a lot of people talk about what was he really like. And the reality is that Michael Jordan was the hardest worker on the team. That Michael Jordan would exhaust people with practice and practice and practice, taking those consistent actions. How do I become better at shooting? How do I become better at defending? How do I become better at, ball control? All of these different things, he relentlessly worked on it. And when you see him, when he first came into the league, he was skinny. He was very, very skinny and wiry. And then by the time he got later, he knew he had to get stronger. So he committed himself to daily steps, daily actions of working out every day. And the trainers would say, yeah, the one person we never have to worry about not being at a workout is him. In fact, if you're a minute or two late, he's upset at you for not being committed to being there on time. And he would have his workouts at like 5 a.m. or something because of his schedule. You get your butt in here and let's go. Let's go. We got to do it. We got to stay committed. We got to stay consistent. We got to keep working. And then when you look at him later, he was significantly stronger towards the latter parts of his career. He put on a lot of strength, a lot of muscle, and he became a much stronger and better player as a result of it. So what about you? What are you doing in your business to build consistency? What are you doing in your life to keep taking results? And this is something that you need to sit down and think about. What is it that you want for an outcome? What is it that you want to achieve? And you need to think about, these are the things that I want. These are the things I want to achieve. These are the things I want to do. And if that's what it is, if that's what you want, then you need to make that a priority. And you need to look at some of the other things in your life and say, you know what? This really isn't that important to me. I'm spending, I can't get the things that I want in life because I'm spending too much time doing things that I don't. Spending time on all these other things that really aren't important to me. I know somebody that's always telling me that they're overcommitted, that they're involved in too many things. And every time I hear from them, they're eliminating things, or they're cutting things out of their life, and they're moving out of this, and they're quitting this, and they're quitting that. But then a few weeks later, they've just volunteered and signed up for a bunch more new stuff. And I just look at them and go, okay, you're not staying focused and committed on the things that you really want. You're just rotating new things in and out. And then in a while, you'll have to quit that too, because you're overcommitted again. No, you need to decide, what is it that you want. If you want to be successful in having in your financial life, one of the best ways to do it is having a small business, is to work for yourself, so you're no longer stuck operating under someone else's terms of what you can earn based on what they decide you're allowed to have. They will always be in charge of how much you make. They're always going to change the rules so it's advantageous for them more than it's advantageous for you. You're always going to lose when you play by someone else's rules. So set yourself up to be in control of your own game. Set yourself up to be in control of your own life. That's when things will start to go better for you. Then, once you decide what it is that you want, start taking those daily actions. And not only that, build systems and accountability to sustain that consistency. What do you need to stay on track? If you know, like for me, in my scenario, I know that if I don't have a trainer at the gym, eventually I'm going to become very inconsistent, and I may even quit working out. So I know that having a trainer, even though my trainer is probably very happy, because at this point, after several years, I know what to do. I am not standing there lost and confused as to how to do an exercise, or I don't know the form, or I don't know the motion, or I know all these things because I've done it now for years. So I'm a very easy client in that regard. I don't need a whole lot of help. What I need is somebody there to create the plan, to make adjustments, to keep me on track, and to hold me accountable. I know for myself that if I'm going to stay on track, this is what has to be there. I've put this in place less because I need the instruction, more because I need the accountability. And yes, he does provide instruction as well. He does set up parameters. He does create the workout plans. But I know that I need that in place. That is a guardrail that I need if I'm going to stay there, if I'm going to stay on track. What about in your business? What about in your personal life? What about in your health? What do you need to stay consistent with the steps that you know you need to take? What are the things that you need? Like for all of us, for us to get healthier, and to get it in better shape, for all of us to do better in our business. We know ultimately the types of things that we need to do, but we're not always consistent at taking those steps. So then ask yourself, why? Why is that the case? Why is it that you're not consistently doing what you know you should be doing? Why is it that you're not consistently taking steps that you should be taking? Good question. So if you know that, hey, I'm not doing what I should be doing because I'm not consistent like I need to be, well, how can you become consistent? What systems can you put in place? How can you structure your life so that you're supported in the actions that you know you need to take? How can you build your life to support you instead of work against you? You see, this is one of the things too. You know that if you have time in your schedule, if you get up a little bit early to get up early and exercise, or get up early to work on your business, or get up early to write that book, or whatever it may be, if you know that, hey, if I could do this, if I get up a half hour early and I did this thing, it would make a tremendous difference. I would be making progress. I'd be doing things. But then on the other side, you need to make sure you're getting to bed at a good time. You need to make sure you're getting to sleep at a decent hour so you get enough rest so that you don't oversleep in the morning, so that you don't say, oh, I don't want to get up, I'm too tired. You need to build a system in your life, a process, a structure that supports the goals and the dreams that you have. And you need to be disciplined with that. You need to stay consistent with that. If that means you need to be in bed by 10 o'clock every night, or 9 o'clock, or whatever it may be, then do it. Do it. Make sure you're building systems. Do you need accountability? Do you need someone in your life, like I do, to hold my feet to the fire and say, stay on track, buddy. Stay on track. Keep going. Stay consistent. Here's the plan. We're going to keep working the plan, keep working the plan, keep working the plan. And I will tell you, those consistent steps compound over time. You know, when I was working out, I had a little stretch for a while where I was working out for myself, and I was doing fine. But I wasn't making a lot of gains. Now that I have that structure in place around me, I'm making significant gains. In fact, I'm doing things now at the gym that I would have never dreamt possible. And I, like, just yesterday, achieved something on the leg press, which I thought never in a million years would I be able to do. And why was I able to do it? It's not magic. It's because I've been doing all these reps. I've been consistently taking all these steps leading up to it, until all of a sudden yesterday, the trainer was like, hey, I want to try this to see if you can do it. And I did. And he was even standing there going, yeah, look at that. That's amazing. And the only reason I was able to do it is because the small, consistent steps over the course of my life compounded, because I had been building strength, building a base of strength, until all of a sudden that base just keeps getting a little taller. And now I'm able to achieve a higher goal. Keep working at it. Keep going. Build your life in a way that's going to help you succeed. Build your life in a way that's going to be structured for you to win. When you do that, it makes all the difference in the world. So that's everything I got for you today. I hope you found this message helpful. Hope you got something out of it. If we can help you, we would love to have a chat with you to see if there's anything else we could do for you. I encourage you to check out designlaunchgrow.com. Fill out an application. We would love to hear from you. And all that does, it's a free application that you can fill out. It just starts the conversation. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you again in the next episode.